Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. We are about to finish up a wonderful, wonderful anniversary weekend. So
It's been great.
it has been great. We took 4 days, 3 nights, got away from the house and the kids and regular life and
In the city.
in the city, most definitely away from the city. We've been up in the mountains in southeast Arizona. Used to be some of our stomping grounds back in our early days of our marriage. And absolutely love this area. So we came up here and rented a little cabin, which is pretty quaint, very quiet. And we spent the last few days driving around the mountains and looking at birds and the scenery and deer and just wildlife in nature and wildlife in general, nature in general, and just hanging out. And it's been wonderful. I like hanging out with this girl.
And this really is our view. That's what we have seen every day. That is.
We're sitting on the front porch of the cabin that we're talking about, and that's what we walk out to every day.
Yeah. There's a couple deer this morning, and this is like a bird watching capital of the Southwest or something like that. Anyway.
We're not bird watchers by nature. There are a lot of them around here.
They're beautiful. I love to look at birds, but they're just, I love being here just because it's away from city. So, and it does happen to be our anniversary today. Today is our anniversary.
Today is our anniversary. So, been married to this girl for 1 year today. Plus a few.
Plus a few.
And it's been wonderful. I like her a lot. So, in a previous video, we actually talked about briefly about how we kind of met, and one of our viewers asked a question. Somebody we know personally asked a question in the comments a while back about talking about ourselves a little bit. So let me start off with I think we're crazy for even doing this channel to begin with. I'm not the kind of guy who goes out there and puts my life in front of everybody. So why I'm doing this, I don't know. But here we are. It's been fun though. I know I've said that before, and I hope to keep saying that, because when it becomes unfun is when I'm going to want to quit doing it. So, but one of the things that, I don't know, I guess we think is important for people to know is our funny little story. And it's actually kind of neat how we met and then went separate ways and came back together and everything, because I believe that there's a lot of providence. We answered a question before on what makes our marriage work, and one of the things that I failed to mention, and it really bugs me a little bit, is number one, we are very much God-fearing people, and we believe in Jesus Christ, and He is center in our relationship. So that should be our number one, and it is our number one. And I should have said that in that previous video, but I failed to do that. So we do believe in that, and in Him, and He is center in our relationship, and that's the number one thing that helps our relationship remain as stable as it is, and as wonderful as it is. So beyond that, it's the work that we put into it. It's the kindness and the friendship, and what else?
And he still looks at me like the day that we met. So
with them big puppy dog eyes.
He does have big puppy dog eyes. Makes me fall in love with them all over every day.
So she wants us to tell our silly little story, because she gets all giggly about it. So obviously it's about us, but in order to protect the innocent, we're going to leave a few of the more
personal details.
Yeah, personal details out of it. So anyway, quickly, just to recap, we met when we were about 12 years old.
Lived in different towns.
Not far from each other, about 40 miles from each other. Didn't know each other. except that our families both participated in a similar activities. We were both very much into horses, and there was an area-wide organization who used to do trail rides, and both of our families participated in that. So during one of these big trail rides, as a matter of fact, the biggest one of the year, they did it every year. That's how we met, and it was because I was about 12, just thought she was the cutest little thing I ever saw, and I followed her around all weekend. I was terrified to talk to her, but all I wanted to do was talk, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. So,
I need to sneeze.
so she was riding in a wagon at the front of the group, handing out waters and watching little kids in the wagon, and
I was the babysitter.
I rode next to the wagon the whole time, and all I could think was, can I have some more water? That's about all I could bring myself to say.
It was quite annoying.
But fast forward a couple years, I thought I was too cool for school, and was riding again, and this time she was riding horseback, and the tables were turned because at this time I was in much slimmer form of myself, and quite handsome, and she was gaga over me, so she approached me because she did not remember that first meeting, but I did. I knew who she was, and she came up to me and started talking, and that started an awesome friendship. So over the years, we saw each other during that time. Whenever I started driving, I would make a trip over to her hometown and visit with her upon occasion. Never dated, we just were friends. Although I really wanted her to be mine. And then come graduation, we graduated the same year.
I had no clue that we're only 13 days apart.
Right.
So we're very close in age, and I didn't know that we were that close in age. So
we graduated the same year, just a few days apart because we were in different schools. And we both had plans to leave and go our separate ways, and I really wanted her to go with me, but she wouldn't hear of it. So graduation night, at her graduation, I went and visited with her and tried to convince her to go with me, but she said no, she had plans, and we went our separate ways into 2 different states. We left our state and went to different states completely. So we were pretty far apart from each other.
And
This was back before cell phones.
Yeah, neither of us had a very good 2-year gap there.
Yeah.
Away from each other.
Pretty rough time there for various reasons. At one point, I came home briefly, passing through to move again. And I went by, I made it a point to go by her house to see if maybe she might be home. It was right on Christmas.
Yeah, it was Christmas time, so he thought I might be home.
Right. And was devastated to find out from her mother that not only was she not home, but she had gotten married. And her mom still says that it was the saddest thing she ever saw because it just took the wind out of me, and she said, I'm pretty sure I just could have pushed him off the front porch. So life got pretty crummy after that because I let it, and I was devastated because I knew that was the last thing. She told me that was the last thing she ever intended to do was to get married, which is why she didn't go with me to begin with. So fast forward some more time, and
well, I ended up coming home.
Right.
So I left my husband, moved home. My daddy came and got me, and I had a baby, and it took me a little while to get my divorce, but after a little bit, I finally was able to get a divorce started, and I was working there in my hometown at a little restaurant, a little Mexican food restaurant, and had been working there for a little while, taking care of myself and my little boy. And he had come home in the meantime.
Last thing on my mind was her, just because I thought she was gone. It was, I came home and was trying to figure out what to do with the rest of my life, and it just so happens that we were, my family and I were together, and we showed up at this little restaurant in her hometown.
You'd been roping all day.
We had been out doing horse stuff again.
Yeah.
And
after they got done, they decided to come eat in my town because the
That was the
town that
closest
they
town.
were in was close to my town. And so they went to the steakhouse, and it was just after closing time. And so they couldn't eat at the steakhouse.
so we drove down the street to this little Mexican restaurant where she was at. I did not know she was there.
Yeah.
We just went in, and I bumped into her, and the whole wave of emotion came back. I was not pleased. I was less than pleased. I was actually very mad. Didn't want to see her.
He wouldn't talk to me. I was his waitress. I didn't ask for the table. It was
Well,
my
yeah.
table to take. And
As fate would have it.
there were 6 of them sitting at the table, and he wouldn't talk to me. And he wouldn't look at me. And I did everything I could to try to talk to him, tried to just get him to say something to me, and he wouldn't talk to me the whole time. Until his wonderful sister, well, I guess your dad, asked you what was wrong.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, boy?
And his sister, let me tell you.
So my sister, who knew the story, she explained to them what was going on, and everybody did the okay, and
And then your buddy.
and then my buddy, when she walked back up, he just turned and looked at her and said, "Would you go on a date with him?" Which didn't about it floored me that I almost slapped him out of his chair, and then of course her answer was just as
Yes.
fast and yes, and which almost threw me out of my chair. And
It was kind of like what my mom described as, you could have just pushed him off the porch, and I think anybody could have just pushed him off the chair. And
yeah. So I guess that icebreaker had to happen. I obviously was not going to do it. It took someone else to do it for me. And it happened. So I started talking to her a little bit. And then when it came time to go, she fluttered her eyes and said that was too bad. And
well,
then
y'all were in separate.
we were in separate.
Okay.
We were in separate vehicles. So she fluttered her eyes and said it was too bad. And so I thought I'd go try to convince them to let me keep one of the vehicles and just hang out and talk with her, and they wouldn't do it. So we drove all the way back to my hometown very fast, and I told her I'd be back in an hour. Well, I'm about to confess to a crime here, so drove very fast there. I took a shower and got in my truck and drove very fast back, that I made what should have been about an hour and 40-minute trip in about an hour and 5 minutes. So spent many hours that night catching up, and then didn't talk the next day. And the next day was invited over for lunch, and I don't think there's been very many days since then we haven't spoken.
Well, I have to say the thing about that dinner that night on Sunday night, because this was Friday when you first walked into the restaurant. On Sunday, I invited you to dinner, and I had my little boy there with me, and he made a terrible mess. Threw food everywhere. He's 18 months.
Noodles and pasta sauce and everything everywhere.
And I made a comment about what a mess he had made, and this man got on his hands and knees and cleaned up the floor, got all the noodles off the floor. And at that moment, I knew I was going to marry him. He's never done it again.
I'm no dummy.
So we dated for 6 months and we were married. So I think it would have been a lot quicker, which I know that 6 months is really quick, but it would have been a lot quicker if my divorce had been final sooner. So, but it was good.
So anyway, in a nutshell, kind of a roundabout way, it's kind of interesting how, I believe in the higher powers, and I'm pretty sure that we were put back together. She's my best friend. I've always felt that way, still feel that way.
I have to say I'm thankful every day for second chances, and I know we get those, and he's my second chance, and it's been the best thing in the world.
So that's our silly little story.
And here we are 24 years later.
And going strong. we've got 5 wonderful boys out of this,
And a girl.
and a girl. Man, that's still hard to get used to. We do love her,
We do. So grateful for her.
and we look forward to everything else that life has to bring us, with more daughters and grandbabies and everything else. And we're very grateful for you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Please subscribe. We really want to keep doing this, and I think it's going to help out a lot if you guys will subscribe. If you'll hit that bell, that way it gives you notifications anytime that we. Got flies on my face.
Yes.
Thank you for saving my life. Please hit that bell. Please subscribe. Please like and share. Leave a comment down below if this is what you like, if you're not or not. This is our little vlog. We're trying to get into the swing of making everything more regular. And
We didn't get a video out last week. That life really got complicated last week, but
we did
it's all good.
getting prepped for everything. But we're working on this. We're figuring out all the steps and the do's and don'ts, and trying to make these as best as we can. And I believe we're getting better all the time. So please help us out. Hit that subscribe button, and then let us know what you think. And we'll have some more content coming your guys' way. Bye.
Bye.